You out here giving back to the community. Okay, you love to see it. There's so many stray cats out here in Valencia. My bad, bro. Go ahead and keep eating. He's out here violating this man, but there's so many stray cats out here in Valencia that me and my girlfriend decided to go ahead and get some cat food just in case we run up on some stray cats so that we can feed them, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person that when I see a stray cat, I feel a compulsive need to take them home with me. But unfortunately, can't do that because I don't even live here. But I don't know, man, I just have a special place in my heart for cats. I don't know if that makes me weird. If it does, then guess I'm weird. Because I love cats, man. Look at that. My homie is eating good. Okay, he is eating good. He's living his very, very, very best life. Love to see it. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm gonna be doing in this video, man. I'm just out here vibing. I'm at this little park. Well, I won't even say little park. It's a pretty big park out here in Valencia. It's called Park Central. For anybody who's from Valencia, maybe you know where I'm at. But I've literally never been here before. Just so happens that this park is right across the street from the place that I'm staying at. So I figure might as well go ahead and catch a vibe. My girlfriend's at work, so I'm just kind of out here exploring. I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I have not gotten a full night's sleep since I got out here, and it's starting to catch up with me. I don't know if you guys can tell, but your boy is most certainly sleep deprived. But anyways, man, I'm just out here feeding the cats. I'm hoping that that food right there is enough to maybe feed a few of them. And look at that, there's another one over there. He's just catching a vibe. Probably smells the food. He's coming over here. I hope they don't start fighting over it. But if my reputation out here in Valencia is that of the crazy cat man, then I guess that's just what I am, man. I'm the crazy cat man. But you know what? I do want to talk about something real quick, man. I do want to talk about the importance of traveling, of getting out of your comfort zone and expanding your horizons. I've been saying that a lot recently, but I haven't really elaborated on what that means to me. Okay, what does it mean to expand your horizons as a person? I'm gonna give you guys an analogy. So to anyone who's been subscribed to me for maybe the past year and a half, 2 years, you might remember that I used to always say, this is only the beginning, right? And I would always do the little rocket ship and then the chart going upward, the graph going upward. And the reason why I always used to say that and why I always used to use those specific emojis was because to me, I was focused on growing. I was focused on growth, particularly in the YouTube space in terms of my career, right? I wanted to accumulate a larger audience so that I could accumulate more money so that I could reinvest back into my brand to accumulate an even larger audience and perpetuate that cycle. But what I've realized over time is that once I crack the formula for something, once I know how to go about doing something, hold on real quick. Got the other homie right there. What's good, bro? Say what's up to the vlog. Should I name these cats? I feel like I should. He's just waiting his turn. Man, even the cats out here are just so polite and everything. Anyways, I realized that once I establish a formula for growth, I lose interest very, very rapidly in whatever it is that I'm doing. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm drawn to writing so much more than YouTube, is because there's no real way to make a formula out of it. It's not a mental endeavor for me. It's more of a spiritual endeavor. It just happens when it happens. I have to be very present and very aware to enable that creativity to flow through me. But YouTube, on the other hand, is very formulaic. It's very easy to create a system to essentially guarantee your growth on the platform. Mind you, as I film this video, I have now uploaded upwards of 900 videos, the vast majority of which I have filmed and edited and brainstormed myself. When you make that many videos, you're going to crack the formula. At some point along the way, if you upload 900 videos on YouTube, high quality videos at that, you're going to crack the formula. Or better yet, you're going to establish your own formula. Through my own experience, as well as my observations of other people's experiences, I've been able to take note of certain things that all but guarantee your growth in this space, in this YouTube space. But what I've realized is that, like I said, that's not fulfilling to me. Going to the gym, working out, lifting weights, that's not fulfilling to me. Even though I see growth, even though I'm going upward on that graph, I don't find that to be fulfilling. You see, what I'm looking for in life at this point is ways to step off of the graph completely, to step into the unknown. If growth becomes a certainty, then I no longer feel like I'm expanding, I'm just growing. The difference between growth and expansion, in my mind anyways, obviously we're just working with semantics, but in my mind, expansion is a more multifaceted version of growth, right? It has dimension to it. It has dimension that growth doesn't necessarily have. What do I mean by that? Like I said, for me to expand by, for example, putting myself in a situation where maybe I'm living in a car in a completely different state across the country from my parents, or to an even greater extent, going overseas at the drop of a hat and meeting up with my girlfriend who I've never actually met in person before, and just immersing myself in this culture, in this new space, that is expansion to me, because I'm stepping into the unknown. I'm stepping off of the graph. I'm no longer growing in a linear sense. I'm expanding beyond direction. And one thing that I realize is that when you feel directionless in life, sometimes it's not a matter of finding your purpose. Sometimes it's just a matter of you needing to step off of the graph. And that's why I've stopped making self-development content, at least to the same extent that I used to, is because I realized that self-development is largely predicated on figuring out your goal first, figuring out your direction, and then reverse engineering in order to get to that goal, in order to achieve that desired outcome. But I'm no longer living an outcome-based life. I'm not thinking so much about being a New York Times bestseller, or having 1 million subscribers on YouTube, or being a millionaire, or really any other external goal. That's not really my point of focus at this point. I'm more so focused on stepping into uncertainty, which inherently comes with the lack of direction, mind you. And to anybody who lacks direction, to my point earlier, this may resonate with you at a very deep level, so you really need to pay attention. When you step into uncertainty, it's impossible for you to have a sense of direction, because you're literally intentionally surrendering, relinquishing your direction in life for the sake of expansion, for spiritual fulfillment. And for me, that's how I'm choosing to live my life at this point. And it won't make sense to most people. And I've had to make peace with that. I had to make peace with the understanding that it may not make sense to people who maybe once supported me, or who are maybe even really close to me in real life. But what I've also realized is that it's not their place to validate my life and my decisions. It's my place, and it's God's place, whatever God is to you, whoever God is to you. I realized that I don't need to seek the validation of other people in order to... Hold on real quick. Look at how he's holding on to that bowl right there. That man is hungry as hell. But anyways, what was I saying? So, basically, man, when you lack direction, it's oftentimes, in my experience, a call to uncertainty. It's a call to step into the unknown and make a transformative decision for your spiritual growth. For your spiritual growth. And like I said, people may not understand that. And when nobody seems to understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, the chances are you're making the right decision. If it feels right to you but doesn't make sense to anybody else, you're probably making the right decision. If you make a decision and everybody agrees with what you're doing, you either have an amazing understanding circle of people around you, or the more likely scenario is that you're not dreaming big enough. You're not dreaming from a standpoint of expansion. You're thinking in terms of growth. How can I grow my bank account? How can I grow my body? These are tangible metrics. These are metrics which can be measured, whereas expansion-based metrics cannot be measured. They can't be quantified. You can't quantify my expansion in my subscriber count, or my bank account, or in how much I weigh, my body fat percentage. You can't quantify my expansion, my spiritual expansion, with any numerical metric. It's impossible. You're gonna have to learn to embrace loving that abstract quality of life, the feelings that we feel, and the mindfulness which enables you to turn those feelings into art, into whatever resonates with you at that moment in time. Living life in the present moment without thinking so much about the future and what the implications of your actions are. I'm not saying that you should go out and just be a career criminal or anything, or spend all of your money on frivolous items, but I am saying that if you have that gut feeling that, hey, maybe I don't need to be working at this 9 to 5, maybe I just want to travel the world, even though I don't necessarily know how I'm going to do that, maybe you just need to take that first step. Maybe you just need to take that first step and figure it out as you go, because that mindset is what's gotten me to where I am. The mindset of growth, following that formulaic approach, while it has earned me certain quantifiable metrics, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and counting, and a good amount of money for somebody my age, different things like that, it never really got me to where I wanted to go from a spiritual or emotional standpoint. Ultimately, when we set goals, when we decide that we want something out of life, what do we really want? We don't want the car, we don't want the clothes, we don't want the house, we don't want the relationship even. We want the feeling. We want the feeling behind the desire. But what you have to understand is that feelings are free. If you simply remove the contingency for the feeling that you wish to feel, you'll realize that you have access to the feeling right now. Now your ego will struggle to accept this. It'll struggle to comprehend this. The fact that its desire is the only thing preventing you from experiencing that feeling that you want to feel on the other side of the desire. But once you come to terms with that, you'll naturally begin to give yourself permission, because you're the only one stopping yourself, you'll naturally begin to give yourself permission to start following that gut feeling and stepping into uncertainty and making those transformative decisions, those expansive decisions. The decision to drop out of college and make a YouTube video about why you dropped out of college, and then watch as that turns into a full-blown YouTube career that you never would have thought you could have ever accomplished. When I was in college, I never, ever in a million years thought that I could make a living doing content creation. Never in a million years did I think that, because I had all of these limiting beliefs. And had I followed the growth mindset, I would have stayed in college, I would have focused on getting my degree and being really, really great at a career that I didn't want to have any part of, that I didn't want to spend my time doing, invest my time doing, invest my life into. I would have grown, but I wouldn't have expanded. Me making the decision to even start my channel in the first place was an expansive decision in its own right. I had to step into uncertainty, willingly. It wasn't easy. It never gets easier, you just become more courageous. Me quitting my job at H&M to go full-time on YouTube, well before I was even close to being monetized. That was an expansive decision. It forced me to rely upon abstract metrics like faith and love and peace, making peace with myself, making peace with the possibility that maybe I wouldn't get what I wanted in the time frame that I wanted it in, and I would have to be okay with that. And I would just have to live my life and be content with where I was. That right there is the cheat code. Once you find that contentment in your life, which I found that in the self-development community is often frowned upon, but once you find that sense of peace and contentment in the present moment, you'll find that you'll naturally begin to make expansive decisions with little apprehension about it, because it's the most natural thing that you can do. Once you find your inner fulfillment, you'll begin to express that fulfillment through all of your day-to-day actions, and eventually those small actions will accumulate into larger actions, and before you know it, you'll be traveling the world, holding this camera, documenting your life, and buying cat food at a Spanish grocery store and feeding random stray cats at this park in Valencia, Spain.